Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our brand new Yellowjackets discussion. And here in the midst of season 3, we're going to
Mhm.
talk about something that has been a key symbol, a question mark for a lot of the show, and that is Jackie's heart necklace.
Yeah, and we're going to try to dive into the truth about Jackie's necklace after this last episode where we saw Callie wearing the necklace. We saw that Lottie actually had the necklace and gave it to her. We saw Shauna kick her out finally.
Yes.
And it all ties back to Pit Girl from the very beginning of the show, where we saw this dark haired girl running, falling into a pit, dying, wearing the necklace of who is Pit Girl. And that's
Yeah.
been, a topic of conversation for a long time. But the idea that Lottie has given this necklace to Callie, it very clearly feels like whoever wears the necklace is going to die.
There is something very negative associated with this necklace, clearly. Like, we will chart in this video the journey of this necklace over time because
Yes.
it has gone for a ride. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody, like any particular piece of jewelry worn by so many different people.
Right.
Before we get any further into that, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we will be here with more reviews on Yellowjackets theory, so much more good stuff through the rest of this season. Also, with Jess's 50th birthday this week, we're trying to get to 70,000 subscribers. It is a great way to celebrate this big milestone for her and for the channel. And thank you to everybody who has.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're really close. We've been doing this a really long
Yeah.
time, and it really means a lot to us to be able to hit that goal. And it is such a nice birthday gift. It's a big birthday for me on Friday. I'm turning 50. So thank you so much. And another way to help support us is to join our Patreon. We'll have a link for you below. We are covering exclusively over there. It is the only place you can get these videos: The Pit, which
Yeah.
is airing on Max, and Prime Target, which is airing on Apple TV Plus. And we drop weekly reviews there for both of those shows. So
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate that.
Okay, so as we all know, Jackie is the first person
Yeah.
who ended up becoming dinner for everyone, who was wearing the necklace.
Yeah.
So it has felt like the connection between her and whoever Pit Girl is who's wearing the necklace. We know that people get chosen, they get chased around, they get eaten. Is that then what the symbol is? Because there definitely was a bit of a back and forth with Shauna and Lottie when Lottie was like, oh, you don't act, that's not what the necklace actually means. What you think it means is not what you think it means. And I think they both understand that it actually does mean the same thing, that whoever's wearing the necklace
Yeah.
is chosen to be dinner. That is the way it is. That's been chosen by the wilderness to be fed to the group. And while Lottie's looking at it as it chooses, the wilderness chooses. It's in the universe. It's not us choosing. It's the wilderness. It's out of our control.
Yeah.
It is fate that it's supposed to happen this way. Sean's on the other side being like, nah, we're picking cards. We're putting the necklace on.
Yeah.
It's a choice. We made that choice there. And now we are back in the present. And there's no reason for my daughter to be chosen or for any of us to be chosen because we can go to the grocery store.
It really is curious in itself that it does not seem as though Shauna has spent a lot of time in the present thinking about this necklace anymore. Like, we don't know exactly how it ended up with Lottie
No.
in the past. Like, we saw it transfer from one person to another. Like, at one point at the very start of the show, Shauna briefly has it. She is sure alive, but a heck of a lot of other people died in that plane. And then, Natalie has it briefly with the whole Queen of Hearts debacle in season 2.
Yep.
She's not around anymore. Like, yeah, she survived the events of the past. So really, I think the question is this necklace a harbinger of doom? Do you believe that it's a harbinger of doom? And how much are you willing to ascribe that level of doom onto it? I think that Shauna clearly thought that, oh, maybe this necklace was just left in the wilderness. Nobody would want to deal with, because like any logical sane person would not want to bring with you something associated with that sort of darkness.
Yeah, unless it's really about Shauna's relationship with Jackie,
Hmm.
where there's lots of us that have had our tinfoil hat on that
Yeah.
she was in love with Jackie. That's how she ended up with Jeff. It was the closest way she was able to get to be able to be with her. She was in love with her. And that definitely could be the way that it was. We never really got a confirmation in that way, but it feels like that's where it was. So for her, there's nothing left of Jackie than to be able to take this necklace.
This is probably the craziest tinfoil hat theory I have regarding the necklace and regarding Jackie. I'm going to say it. It is cheesy, but that is fine. I love cheese. Is it the fact that Shauna is really one of the only people who seemingly had Jackie's heart in mind, heart necklace here?
Yeah.
Is this the reason why Shauna has not died yet, despite the fact that she has been in possession of this necklace before? Is Jackie's heart in some way protecting her from this mythological
Oh.
idea of doom that is spreading everywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, this show is about faith to me,
Hmm.
about spirituality in that way. We've talked about this before that we both don't think that this is about supernatural, that it's
No.
more about faith and spirituality and sort of having those that we love
Yeah.
protecting us and us protecting them and that sort of feeling. And I think obviously Shauna has a lot of guilt over the fight that her and Jackie had that ended up with her dying and everybody having her for dinner and
Yeah.
everything that was happening, that the necklace sort of then being transferred around to me probably sits with Shauna, that
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this happened by accident with Jackie,
Yeah.
but this is not happening by accident when we're choosing other people and putting this necklace on somebody.
Yeah.
This is not just an accident. This is not fate anymore. This
Yeah.
is us choosing somebody.
Well, there's also just this thing of faith versus superstition, and also this idea
And
of,
talisman, like
yeah,
having like a necklace or a whatever.
there's all sorts of associations you can make with something. And I'll use a really silly one here, is that going under a ladder gives you however many years of bad luck. I don't remember how many it is. 7, who cares? But
I think
anyway,
that's a mirror.
that's a, whatever it is. One of them give you really bad luck. But the idea here is, even if you don't believe in it, are you just going to be like, I'm going to go walk under this ladder? No. And it's just like, even if you think there's still a way you can survive if you have this necklace on because Sean is still alive, whatever, like, why do you want to tempt fate? Like, why do you want to even go down this road of superstition where so much bad juju is just associated with this necklace? What's like, why do you even want Callie to be attached to that at all?
Guilt.
That's the
I
thing.
think that's just it. I think it's just Shauna really has a lot of guilt over what happened with Jackie, and she just carries that guilt. She blames herself for it. I think
Yeah.
that that's probably also, besides that she couldn't be with Jackie, she can be with Jeff, that it brought them closer together because they both had a shared grief over losing Jackie. It was such a huge thing. They were both extremely close to her. They both loved her. They both cared about her. And shared grief brings people together in that way. I just think that it's pretty common even in extreme circumstances like this
Hmm.
for people to want to have something of the person they loved. I'm a former funeral director. I've
Yeah.
seen it a million times where their loved one might have like on a necklace or a ring or earrings or something during the visitation, and then they're removed to be given to the family member so that they can have that piece of jewelry or talisman or trinket or whatever it is that has sentimental attachment to it. And that's what it is more so for Shauna. But she may also be like, if I have this necklace,
Yeah.
nobody else is going to get it. It's just the way that it is. Because if you got Lottie over here putting it on people being like,
Yeah.
the wilderness has chosen and now it has chosen your daughter, there is no way that that's going to happen if Shauna can find a way to just have that thing hidden away. And she's like, okay, I know where it is.
It's sort of oddly like the hidden immunity idol in Survivor. If you have it, nobody else can use it to try to get you out of the game. You gotta have some safety.
Okay, let's get into the Cali of it all
Yeah.
because there is a tinfoil hat theory that's
Yeah.
been going around for a long time now that Callie is actually
Mhm.
the pit girl, because there's not that many options of who is the pit girl if this is happening in the past, because we know that Lottie is alive in the future, so it's not her. Murray's been getting a lot more screen time this season, which has been
Yeah.
great because she's such an interesting character to watch. She's completely compelling. Not everything about her is great, but
No.
at the same time, I can't stop watching her.
Mhm.
Her singing in the cave was so good.
Yeah.
There's something about her. But there's not that many girls that are there that have that long brown hair that would sort of match who we saw Pit Girl to be.
Yeah.
So there is a theory of this crazy twist of why we're seeing, past and present, that Lottie gives Callie the necklace. She has now worn it.
Mhm.
So it feels like once you wear it, you're done, you're marked, it's over. That it's going to be her that's going to end up running, falling into this pit and dying. And that is going to be the thing that's going to set Shauna off.
I hope that this is actually the case. And I'm not saying that because I just want to live in like the darkest timeline possible for
This is
Yellow
a
Jacket.
really dark show. Killing off Callie is not something they wouldn't do.
I just think it's a much more interesting twist for a couple of different reasons here. Because if we were just to think about who is Pit Girl now in the context of the people that we have in the past, there's just not that many options. And we're kind of just left with, okay, it's probably Mari. And if we have a one person theory, the theory is no longer exciting. It's no
Yes.
longer valid. And I think the biggest criticism that Yellowjackets has right now, and a lot of it, to be fair, is justified. It's
Mhm.
just that the stuff in the present is nowhere near as interesting as the stuff in the past. And going into this season, it was hinted that, okay, Callie is going to have a much bigger role. So if Callie is going to have a much bigger role, it can't just be because she is a rebellious teenager. I don't think that that in itself is that exciting for anybody to watch. The idea that she might become Pit Girl, that is exciting because that to me feels like something where, unless you are really, really plugged in online, like, a lot of you guys probably are, like we are, if you're just sort of a casual Yellow Jackets fan watching week to week,
Mhm.
maybe you wouldn't actually see that coming, and maybe you would see something like Mari coming.
Yeah, it just feels like with how much of a bigger role Callie has,
Hmm.
that whole period of time that's kind of just missing where Lottie and Callie were spending the night together, talking after everything that happened. It didn't make a lot of sense why Callie would want to have Lottie around, because when she saw, I mean, Lottie was chasing after to kill her mom, right?
Yeah.
And she loves her mom. So why would she then be getting this close to Lottie? Whatever that conversation was had, there had to have been something in there that was very convincing from Lottie that Callie has become like a true believer of this, even though she wasn't there in the wilderness with everything that happened. Enough of a believer that she's basically the rabbit being led to the slaughter at this point, and she doesn't even realize it. Lottie, there's a reason why we had that whole second season that was up on her compound with
Oh
all the
yeah.
people that were believing everything she said and dyeing all their clothes purple and giving up their phones and like all of that. And it's because people listen to Lottie. They believe in Lottie. They
Yeah.
believe in the spirituality of Lottie. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that it took one night for Lottie and Callie to sit down and have this conversation where now Callie is this true believer. By the time her mom comes home, she's braiding her hair and they're going out together and they're having dancing around, and that she would actually wear Jackie's necklace. I think Callie knows everything at this point, and she is just a true believer.
Where this gets interesting from here is just that we already saw Shauna be like, get out, kick rocks, I never want to see you over here
Right.
again. If you're Lottie, then what are you going to do to try to get close to Callie? Are you going to try to establish some sort of secret rendezvous meetings? Because if
Yes.
we are going to this pit girl idea, this can't be the end of their interaction. And then if you were Shauna, how do you combat this? And I think all of this comes down to this big question now of, is death inevitable? Is there a way in which to avoid all of this. Like, I am very much in the camp of, okay, there is a way to avoid it, but the question is whether or not Shauna is the right person to guide Callie on the path to avoiding it, because Shauna's gone through a lot of really terrible things and she may not be able to think clearly along the way.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, this show is like Final Destination movies, where it's
Hmm.
kind of like, yeah, maybe you were able to cheat death this one time or two times, but you'll never be able to outrun death. I mean, it is just inevitable, right?
Yeah.
And in this situation, it feels like it's kind of that same thing. That's like, oh, you've now been chosen. It doesn't matter that Shauna kicked me out, or trying to keep me away from Callie. If you're Lottie, they're going to find a way to get back together again. You can't control Callie. You can try,
Yeah.
but it's just not going to happen. You definitely can't control Lottie. They are going to find a way to continue to meet up, having whatever lessons they're having at this point, and she's probably going to end up dying. It feels like it's coming, and it feels like it makes sense for Shauna to have to deal with something that traumatic
Yeah.
in the present, to be able to really deal now with this whole group of women, what they went through as girls,
Yeah.
what they are going through as women, and what's happening with this wilderness.
I kind of feel like in some way we're all going to go back there at some point as adults in a real dramatic sense. It's just, how do you do that without making it the campiest, ridiculous thing ever? And that's a hard thing to bridge.
Campier than the llama from last week.
Hey, I'm back. This was a very fun debate I had with people in the comments. Listen, Vincent Pastore is actually from the Bronx. I am taking this as a win. You can say it's a New Jersey accent. I had no idea. This is the closest I've ever been to guessing an accent right. But no,
It's fine. It's just fun. Like, this doesn't need to be that serious.
that's what we're thinking about a lot right now when it comes to Jackie's Necklace on Yellowjackets season 3. But what do you guys really think that it means, and how are you feeling about the idea that Callie is actually Pit Girl? Let us know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 70,000 for Jess's birthday, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description below.
Yep.
We're covering there The Pit on Max, Prime Target on Apple TV Plus. Thank you guys so much. We will see you here next time.